What is an SKU number or a stock keeping unit? Basically, it's a number linked to a product, a unique number for a unique product. In this video, I'll show you 3 examples, one from a real life manufacturing making 40,000 satellite dishes a week and how that number was structured. And then we'll come up with 2 fictitious examples. One is going to be food, biscuits, and one is going to be cardboard boxes. So the idea is to get our brain cells working to find out what elements we need in our part code or our product code or SKU to make sense for you. So it's your number. So the idea is your number will work for you. Some will be longer, some will be shorter, depending to your needs and your industry, but you'll have a number that makes sense for you. So in this video, we'll work through step by step how you can come up with your unique number. As I said, simple rule, one product, one number. And as long as we follow that, everything will make sense thereafter. Your stock keeping unit, there's a lot more detail I've covered on the screen. If you want to follow through, feel free to pause the video and you can read through the finer details. But basically it goes through the different types of numbers. Material requirement planning, MRP, obviously our unique product code number will be linked to our stock control. If we're scheduling our production, it'll be in our production scheduling. Also inventory control, both finished and component level. And if we're outsourcing, for supply management, so if you're not actually manufacturing yourself, if you're outsourcing it, allow you easy ways of doing that as well. So UPC versus SKU. UPC generally on the retail side, unique digits, so it's all digits, no letters in this, and it's a number that will eventually be, if they wanted to, be generated in a barcode. We're going to be focusing on the SKU, which is going to be used in your environment, so your e-commerce site, your warehousing, your delivery notes and stuff like that. Again, I'll leave the notes on the screen, so if you want to pause, you can read through them. So you've finished assembly. So for example, if we were manufacturing, this bottle, this is going to be, there'll be a bill of materials that make up this bottle. There'll be a bill of materials that make up my glasses. Basically, it's the components that make up this. So in this case, there's the bottle, there's the straw, there's the blue lid, there's the blue sucker, and the barcode as well, the label at the bottom. So there's 5 components. So the BOM for this would be 5 items. Now the numbers for your bill of materials doesn't have to be as detailed, if you don't want it to be, as your SKU number. Now the system I'm going to show you, we initially developed it and then deployed it in telecommunications, satellite dish manufacturing, and this was done in the 80s. Since then I deployed it in a automotive industry and then also in food, and the companies that it was developed and deployed in, their customer base, or some of their customers, actually on screen at the moment. Once we've done the aerial, I'm going to show you a real life one which we use in the telecommunications. Then we're going to come up with a part code number system or an SKU for biscuits and cookies, and then one for sweets and cake boxes. So it doesn't really matter what industry, it's just so we can get the brain cells, the grey matter working to work out what bits and pieces we need to think about to make our number. So the real life example is the satellite dish. So to work out the part numbers or the SKU, the product code number for this, we needed to know the antenna and the packaging, the reflector side, so the size of the dish, the mount, how the dish is being mounted, the finish of the dish, any special instructions that need to be packed or to go with that product if it was for a particular customer, and the feed mount clamp, the size of the clamp at the end. Antenna and packaging, the satellite dish. So depending to the packaging we were using, so if we were using polystyrene, everything was packed in cardboard boxes, but we had the inner packaging was either going to be polystyrene or it was going to be cardboard. We did, and this was back in the late 80s, we were trying to move away from polystyrene. But in this example, we've got this dish was an airy steel dish packed in polystyrene, and obviously there would have been a cardboard outer sleeve. So in this case, it's marked as E. Then it's the size of the dish. So again, we had various sizes of the dish. We never did anything smaller than 35. And again, we had, there's a long list, but we never did anything smaller than 35. And you'll notice at the bottom of the list, we've got 12, or that's 1.2. That was 1.2 meters. Again, what we're trying to do is keep the part code number as short as possible. So because we didn't have anything as low as 35 and we didn't do anything bigger than 1.5, we could use the lower numbers, 1 as in 0 for 1 meters, 1.2 meters, 1.5 meters as part of the part code numbers. It makes sense internally, and there was never a problem of needing to go to 3. But in some cases, if you need to increase the number to cover your measurement, do so if it makes sense. But in this case, 2 characters, 2 numbers worked for us. So in this case, 62 centimeter is the size of the reflector. How is this dish going to be mounted? So there's various options. Was it going to be mounted on a pole? Was it going to be mounted on a wall or pole if we had supplied that option, wall only? Or we also supplied Reuters, and theirs was just sandbagged because there would be in different areas. They was either sandbagged on a roof of a van or on the floor. So in this case, it's being mounted as a combined wall and pole. So that was the B. Now the dishes themselves, we had solid dishes, white dishes and all that kind of stuff. Each dish was electro painted. That's the middle one, so it's EP. But because they were all had that same feature, they're all pre-painted before they were powder coated, we didn't need to make a reference about it in the part code number. So in this case, this dish is steel with holes in it, so it's a mesh dish, and it's painted anthracite, so it's MA in this case. Special instructions. Was there any special instructions? Were we packing an L&B? Were there any leaflets? Was there a branded logo on the dish or anything like that? In this case, there isn't, so it's marked with a 0 or 0. The clamp at the end, so the grey, this slightly greyed out part, the L&B, that come in various sizes. So in this case, was it a 25mm? Was it a 40mm? We eventually developed a universal clamp, and that's what's in this particular kit. So that's marked 9. So all of those key areas of the satellite dish are now being broken down and then represented by the part code number, which made sense internally, and the staff and the teams would understand. Again, they were issued a drawing in a packing list because obviously we wanted to get the job right, but they over time they understood what the part code number meant. So if they were packing, for example, a purple dish and it was marked MA, and it's like, wait a minute, logically it don't make sense because they know M for mesh and A was anthracite, so it wouldn't be a purple dish. So it made sense to have a logical number. And also, I don't know if you buy something and you want a B172 and you'll think, oh, I'm going to have a B1723, and they'll go, no, the first one's a camera and 2173 is a bag. It's like, you know, where's the logic? This is a logical way of creating your number. Now yours might be slightly longer or slightly shorter. We'll cover those in 2 examples. I'll fire up the iPad and we'll walk through them so we can work out your number. If you are finding this video helpful, do give us a thumbs up and feel free to share this with any other business owners. So, okay, in this example, we're going to look at biscuits or cookies. Everybody likes a good biscuit. So we're going to work out a part number, an SKU, for a fictitious biscuit or an array of biscuits. So first thing we need to work out is what it is. So we need to look at our item. So regardless of what industry is, what is the item? So let's put this in there. So the item. So we're going to have a cream. Let's have a cream sandwich. So these are, if you're familiar with things like bourbons, custard creams, stuff like that. So we definitely need to have a cookie. Let's have cookies. Now we've got the size. So these are going to be the pack size. So the pack size is going to be 150 grams, 200 grams, 300 grams. And again, we can have more or less. Now, for example, if for some reason we were doing, say, 50 grams, which we might do if they were individuals, small catering packs for when you give blood, they give you a few biscuits, so it might be that. So if it was 50 grams, because I know we're going to need 3 numbers for the size, it's going to be 050, because I want to keep the size of the numbers for all the product codes the same. So then we're going to have flavors, or the flavor of the biscuit. So we'll have chocolate, digestive, we can have vanilla, shortcake, again, if you're making biscuits, you'll know all the different permutations and stuff like that, and what's important to you. This is just to get the grey matter working. So then we're going to need fillings. I'm going to put fillings and hint. So again, we'll have chocolate here. So obviously, if we were making things like a bourbon cream, they would have chocolate, coconut, and we can go fruit, we could have orange, and I mean the list could go on. So now we want packaging. So film. I'm calling it film for the sleeve that normally comes around a packet. Could be in a box. Gift. So all the different packagings we would list down. The idea is just a brain dump of all the different possible permutations that would affect the biscuit itself. Now if we draw some boxes, so what we're going to do is come up with our part code number and fill in these boxes. Now we've got all the different names. What we want to do is, obviously we know we're going to use 3 numbers for the size. For the actual biscuit itself, we're going to use 2 characters from the biscuit. So if it's a cream sandwich, we're going to call it a CS. If it's the ginger nut, it's going to... If it's a ring, if it's a finger, FI, a wafer, sandwich, a WS. If it's a cookie, be a cone. If it's a roll biscuit, if it's an OT based biscuit, the size is as is. Chocolate is going to be a C, digestive D, B, S for shortcake, W for wholemeal, L for lemon, pink for pink, the flavor. So these are the flavoring. The actual filling, or the hint of, C for chocolate. And now we've got, oh dear. Now I know because we've got coconut. So in this case, we're going to have CH for chocolate, CO for coconut, FR, orange, O. So that's the idea of writing them all, working them all out. So, because once you come up with your partner code number, you don't want to be changing it. So plan ahead. So, sorry. Plan ahead. So if you think you're going to use a selection of flavors, and then obviously you might have to go into double characters, plan for that. So a 0, this is where there is no flavour. So there particularly is going to be main plain biscuits, currants, CU, fig, FI, stem ginger, SG. So for packing in film, there's going to be an F, B for box, G for gift. So now we can work out our part code number. So if somebody says, okay, they're going to make some cream sandwiches, what size are they going to be? They're going to be 150 ml or 150 gram packaging packs. What flavour are they going to be? They're going to be chocolate. What filling are they? They're going to be chocolate filling. They're bourbon creams. And what packaging? Just standard film. So that would be our part code. So the CS there, the 150, the 150 there, and so on. You can see where this is going to go. Okay, now let's find out how we'll come up with our number if we were going to make a wafer sandwich. So these are the pink wafer sandwich. So it's going to be a WS. It's going to be in 150 gram packaging. It's going to be pink. That's a flavour. I don't know if there's an official flavour, so I just call it pink. I know the filling is strawberry, ST. And for those who spotted it, you've probably seen I squeeze that at the bottom. And it's going to be packed in film. So that's our product code for a pink wafer. So we just follow the matrix, nice and easy. If you want to grow your business using all aspects of the internet, don't forget to tap the subscribe button now so you don't miss out on any important videos. So in this example, we're going to come up with a number system for boxes. So if you imagine boxes for wedding favours, sweets, donuts and stuff like that. So what we're going to do, this one's going to be slightly longer because there's 3 different measurements. So in this case, a grey matter gets to look at a different problem to come up with a part code number. So in this first case, again, we've got the item. So we've got box. A designer box. Bag, which is paper bag. So then we've got the style. I'm trying to keep this so it fits in. So we've got a 1 piece. Top box. That's quite a lengthy one. Might have to see if I can shorten these out. I've just tidied them up so I know I can fit it all on one page. So we've got crush bottom box. That's a bit like a cornflake box. We've got straight tuck box. And we've got a few others, but I want to just jump to bag. So we've got a simple flip. So that's basically a handleless, so a bag without a handle, basically. So now the length. Now we're going to cover 3 measurements. Now the order, depending on how you, so in this case I've got item, then style, then length. Now if what was important to me was the item, so the bag itself or the box, and then the length, I would put the length in first. But in this case I've gone item and then the style and then the length. Now if I wanted as I said, if the color was more important than the length in the sort, again with computers you can do filters and stuff like that. So I would put colors and then potentially keep all the 3 digits, all the 3 sets of numbers together, length, width and height. But if I just go in this case length, so So these would be in mil, 146, 150, and so on. Then we've got colour. I'm going to try to squeeze these in. So we're going to have a clear, white, red, and let's have a purple. And then if we had a mix one, so if we had, say, we had white and pink, I'll just put that like that. Width 100, 105, 127, 150. These are real examples I got from one of my customers. So height. One thing I didn't have is the order of what's important to them, as I said. So if they were doing it, they might jiggle this around. Again, I'm going to go with 3 characters, 3 numbers here. So 30, 035, 04, and so on. Now the last one, in this case, obviously not packaging, because this is what it is. It is packaging will actually coming up the number 4. So in this case is embellishment. Now what's actually on the box? So we've got designer boxes, and they may have things like ribbons. We've got windows. So you've probably seen that, the boxes where they have a little plastic see-through element. Obviously they have the plastic to protect the food. So that's known as a window. It may have a label. And if there's no embellishment, so if it's just the box itself, we'll put that as a 0. So let's draw the boxes for the part codes to go in. So the box, well, that could be BO. I'll have a DB for designer boxes and BP for paper bags, but bags paper. Top boxes we'll call TT. 2-piece would be TP, but I didn't put it in the list. The holster box would be HO. Sleeve SE. The crush box CB. And you can see this would be ST. And the simple flip for the bag, SF, simple flip. Obviously the lengths are as written. The colour, so clear, CL, WH. Now we could have gone with single, but because we've got combined colours in some cases, 2 colours, hence we needed the 2 characters. So purple would be PR and WP for that. The lengths obviously as is, hundreds. Same with the heights. If there was a ribbon, R, W, L, and Z if there's no additions. So let's come up with our first item. So it's going to be a box. So BO. The style is the top. The size 255mm. Colour purple. Sounds like that would be a good film name. The width 127. The height 38. Obviously I didn't write it there, but that whole list would be filled out with all the relevant size. Any embellishments? No embellishments. So that's the number for a box. As you can see, this is quite a lengthy SKU or a part number, but we've covered 9 characters are the numbers themselves of the dimensions of the box. So the whole part number is represented also by the dimensions of the box itself or the bag. So we're making a bag. So the bag is going to be let's do it down here. So let's give this. So the bag would be BP for the bag. It's a simple flip. The size of the bag, it's 150. The colour of the bag, so it's going to be white and pink. $100 wide. Now the depth, the thickness, is going to be 002 and no embellishments. I need to do that neater now so we can definitely see. So it's 002. So now let's come up for another number. So in this case, we're going to have a bag. So it's going to be B, P for the bag. It's a simple flip. It is 100 in length, in width. So now let's come up. So now let's come up for a number for a bag. So the bag itself would be BP for the bag. It's a simple flip. The size, it's going to be 150 mil in length. It's going to be 60 mil. And the thickness, I don't know, we'll have, that's 2 mil. And they're also including teeny little labels. So it'll have a label in it. So that would be the number for a bag. And you see, quite lengthy, but it covers all the details. So if you have found this video helpful, YouTube's about to suggest 2 other videos for you. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments what industry you are and how you're going to come up with your number